the first thing we'll understand is how the oceans, and the atmosphere work. So a little picture, the major climate components, atmosphere, and the oceans. They're pretty complex on their own terms, but they have some similarities, and we'll start with the similarities. In that they're both stratified. Strata means layered. Right? So if you look at the atmosphere, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, there's different names to them. And when you start reading a chapter, and I'll lecture on this next week, you'll see what characterizes each of those and where climate occurs. Actually, climate occurs in the troposphere. We're interested in mostly in here, but it's important to know what happens throughout the range because as solar radiation comes in and exits, all these processes mediate how much of that energy remains, causing temperature. The oceans are also stratified. There's all these layers, and the layers explain the different composition of the oceans and also their circulation. So, and this is a cross section over the Atlantic. Here's the North Atlantic, South Atlantic, the equator. And you can see there's different layers, and the different layers have determined many of differences in density, which are affected by both temperature and salinity. Okay? So our first lab is going to be to look at stratification, and because it's easier to do stratification than water, we'll start that, and that will translate to understanding of stratification in the atmosphere. Okay. So what is stratification? Stratification is layers, and it's layers of different density. Density is defined by this unit, mass over volume. So you can have two bottles here, same volume. One's filled with molasses and one filled with water. Obviously, the molasses is going to be heavier, so it's denser, right? So difference in density determines stratification. And it's important because stratification can explain the difference in the composition of the layers and also explains their circulation. And we'll see that in the lab this Thursday. Okay, so this is a picture in a lake. If you were in a lake this summer, this is lakes can get stratified. If they get really warm, you get this layer. This is a temperature with depth. They get nice and warm in the surface. So this is stratified as autumn and fall. The temperature decreases, stratification declines, and then there's mixing. So whether stratification or not really determines how things are distributed in the water. If it's stratified, it's going to be separated. If they're not, they're going to be mixed. So Thursday, that's what we're going to do. You're going to start first with a lab safety lecture. It's a short lecture, so please be on time. And the science instructor technician wants to make sure everybody takes the lab safety course. So you should get an invitation. If you didn't, please write this email. This is Janet Nelson, and just let her know that you're in our class and you haven't gotten the invitation. Okay, she'll take care of that.
If we took the science class last quarter and did that already, do we have to redo it for this quarter?
I don't know. That's a good question. Why don't you ask Jenna?
Okay. Where would we receive the invitation?
Oh, through email. So,
Evergreen email.
Yeah, the Evergreen.
Everybody should be checking your Evergreen email because that's where you will get any announcements we post on our Canvas site.
I wanted to say that I just found mine in the courses. So if you have your courses, it might already be there.
Okay.
You can also check your emails too.
Okay, check your emails or check the courses. But we still have, tomorrow's Wednesday, so try it tonight. Make sure if you can't find it, we'll try to sort it out. It'd be much better if we all go in to the safety lecture with that. Okay, and I have 5 minutes. I'm going to talk about the seminar, right? So tomorrow is actually a seminar. Do we decide which room? There's 2 rooms.
We haven't decided, but they're close next to one another. We can get there and then decide which feels cozier or more comfortable.
Yeah. So it's in SEM 2E building, and it's 3rd floor, right? 3rd floor of E. Right? Okay. All right. So what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow's a little bit of introduction to seminar. So, who hasn't had seminar? Oh, somebody hasn't had seminar. Okay. So we'll start with kind of general. Even those of you who have seminar, because it's something that's actually new each time. Because the chemistry of the class matter. So we'll start with basically the why, what, and how of seminar. So we'll start a little with that. We'll explain how we run seminar in our class. We'll talk a little bit about the essay. But to make it a more substantial part of it, a more substantial learning opportunity, we chose this very short article. I think it's a couple pages. This is from the Washington Post. Here it is. Harvey and Irma are the new normal. It's time to move away from the coast. Okay. You can see it's very relevant. This is from a few years ago, but you know, I think you can see. Fast forward to now. There's been all this hurricane seasons. All those things are pretty relevant. Okay. So where is it? It's in modules. It's a PDF. So you can find it there. We're gonna post both. I'm already put your slides up. So this slides I'm gonna change the PDF and post them just as soon as we end of class. So you can go to the Washington Post directly, but it's easier to get the PDF. Okay. So read it, and then we're gonna see your writing. So we'll start short one page max. Read it, and here's some ideas of what to write about. Right. So talk about a lot of the reason we're reading this one is to give an introduction of what is an environmental problem and what's a possible solution. Right? So that'd be an interesting way to see when we talk about global climate change as well. So read it. What is the problem and what is the solution? And your analyses is what do you think? What is your thoughts about the proposed solution? Will it work? It wouldn't work. Why? Okay. So in a gist, that's what we're going to do. Read it. Think about the problem, the solution. What are your thoughts? Okay. We'll be progressively telling you more about technically how to write an academic essay. For the first one, maybe just think about this. We'd like you to incorporate in all your essays. Ryan will start with this one. It's important to make a connection with when you write about something. It's good to connect it to the reading. Sounds obvious, but you'll be surprised how many you find a lot of essays that are not connected to the reading. Right? So it's important to connect to the reading. So you ask you to find a quote, find a something in the article that gives you an insight about what you're going to write about, and quote it, direct quote, and then find a couple things that you don't need to directly quote it, but they're paraphrased, some ideas that were in the article. So again, this second part is to help you get into the habit of always supporting your statements with what's in the reading. Okay? Let me see what else I say about this. The title. I forgot to put the title. Shanglan mentioned it's a really good tool to make sure your writing is focused, right? Because if you think about, okay, I need a title that reflects what I'm going to write about. So if you think about a title like my first essay, it's good, right? So maybe you read it and you can say, you think, oh, this is all wrong. You can say, I don't know, your title could be misguided solution to increase our case. So the more you're focused, the easier it's going to come up with a title. So start with a title, and then write the paper. Okay? Great. You want to add anything, Shangri?
So we would recommend using APA citation, and for now, what we will do is add the citation style guide. It's going to be a document in the main module above week 1. So you're welcome to do look at the instructions for how to cite your essay following APA citation style guide. Look at the document and do your best. So this is a trial, the first essay. Write the essay as best you can, following the citation style guide as best you can. In a future Friday workshop, we will go over in detail how to properly use APA citation style guide. But for now, just...
So here's where it's located. The reading here, and you click in here, the assignment is there, so you can, enter. You can just type it directly or write it in Word and put it up. Okay. We're done with day 1. Yay!
So today we took attendance in the morning, but from tomorrow onwards, we will be circulating a sign-up sheet. So please make sure that you're responsible for signing the sign-up sheet. That will be our source of evidence for, keeping records, accurate records of attendance.
Great. Any questions? Oh, yeah,
Yes,
come,
please.
yeah, come here. and present
You're
some.
welcome to hand them to us before
Yeah,
you leave.
when you leave,
Okay.
just put them in the table here. And we're done for the day. We're around here if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at 11. 11 to 1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.